Hey there. It's been a while. I was just doing the Disney College Program for the last 6 months, and I didn't really have a whole lot of time to do any type of YouTube videos or any type of podcasting. It's going to go up on my YouTube channel and podcast channel up on Spotify. I just wanted to come on here, talk about my Disney College Program experience. I just want to come on here and talk about my Disney College Program experience. Um, Hopefully this doesn't go on for too long. I'm going to try to condense it down. There's a whole lot of ideas that I want to talk about, but I just want to condense it down to one main idea about my overall experience. I'm not going to get into any details. I'm not going to go into I'm not going to breach any NDAs or anything like that. I'm not going to reveal any Disney secrets. I just want to talk about what the Disney College Program is, because I think a lot of times that college students come into the college program or thinking about doing the college program, thinking it's one of the best things ever, right? Move down to Florida and work for the magical company that is the Walt Disney Company. And I just want to come on here and say that's not necessarily exactly true, at least from my experience. There's a lot of people that have different experiences. You can probably see them on TikTok, loving their life and doing all that kind of things. But I just want to come on here and give a more realistic point of view, more realistic experience, and coming to the mind of Nate Hayden, talking about my Disney College Program experience. So to start it off, I worked at Hollywood Studios. I worked at ODV, which is outdoor vending, quick service food. So what we did in my department, we managed, stocked, and did everything with the snack carts that were around Hollywood Studios. There's roughly 20 to 25 of them. If you're, like Hollywood Studios, you know what I'm talking about. Probably towards the entrance of Toy Story Land, there's a cart called Market, and we call them carts. They're basically food snack stands. We sell popcorn, soda, churros, pretzels. There's Market. There's one next to Rock and Roller Coaster called Rock Station. We have other big silver buildings that were their popcorn carts. So we got a whole bunch of different carts. We sell a whole lot of different items, things of that nature. We did a lot. My department does a lot. We did a whole lot of things. Every time I clocked in, I knew that I was going to be working. I knew that I was going to working my butt off to do what I was told to do. The main components of what I did, the four main components is the park, stocking, Fantasmic, and pretzel cooking. I never got trained on pretzel cooking, and that's a whole idea in of itself, I guess. But I never got trained, so I won't talk about that one. So I'm going to talk about the other three, which is park. What you do is clock in, you get an assignment, and you would go to the cart that tells you. And the cast members know what cart to go to. Usually you're bumping somebody to their break, or you're coming in for somebody. It's a whole different process that they have. Again, not to go into details, but that's what happened. What you do at the cart is either cashier or filler, and cashier obviously deals with the money and talking to the guest, what they would like, pretzels, churros, again, Cokes, whatever. And the filler would have to go and get whatever the guest orders, fill up a Coke bottle or something like that, or get a Coke bottle from one of our soda carts or soda wagons, or get a little box of popcorn or something along those lines. So it's really simple and easy tasks, right? That's what you do throughout the day. And then once you close in our college program, it's, CP college program, but we're also known as the closing program, because that's what we would do. We closed Hollywood Studios. We would close the park. We would close the entire resort. That's what the college program people normally do. So we close the cart. So it would range from, wiping most everything down, making sure there's no spots left. And then once you do all they have like a list of things you need to do. You would call your coordinator. Coordinator comes over, checks you, make sure everything's good, and then you would leave. You would go get your go clock out or get your time changed, and then you would leave. Stocking, you would go. Most carts or all carts have Most carts have ice cream. All carts have different items that need to be stocked up, right? But the main idea is ice cream because that's the example I'm going to use. If a cart had Mickey bars, right, and they have 8 boxes of Mickey bars, and they sell throughout the day four boxes throughout 4 boxes, and they're down 4 boxes and only have 5 left. It's now the stocker's job to go from base to the cart, to that specific cart, and give them 4 more boxes. So they're back up to where they're supposed to be. I think it's 9, but I think what it's talking about is 9. But like the part's different from every card. That's just like a normal like idea. If you had 10 boxes of Mickey bars and you sold 5, the stocker had to go and give you 5 more, so that now you're back up to par. What we would do at Fantasmic is we would work in the refreshments. We would do all types of stuff: popcorn cooking, pretzel cooking, cashier. Filling, drink pour, all types of stuff. As you can tell, there's a lot. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things that you need to know. Part of our department. And I'm not going to come on here and bash ODV, Hollywood Studios ODV. That's not something I'm going to do. I'm not going to come on here and say Disney's a bad company. I'm not going to say anything of that nature. I'm just going to talk about my experience and how it greatly affected me and my Disney College Program experience and my Disney outlook in general. If you're looking for like a really quick answer, I did not like my college program experience. I thought it was mostly okay. It was okay. It was all right. Would I do it again? I would maybe do it again if it wasn't in the same role. I knew a lot of people that are doing different roles that wasn't food, that was attractions or you lifeguard or but most people that I knew did food service, and that's probably what can say a lot. I think it was a generally okay experience, but there are so many little things that we had to deal with as college program, and there's a whole different thing that as just an ODV cast member, but there's a whole different thing with ODV cast member, whole different thing as a college program, and then like the overarching idea is a ODV cast member as a college program a participant, and that's what I was. I do not think our department was the most well-run or organized. I don't think it was the most well-oiled machine. And the college program really got affected by that. My college program experience really got affected by that. We almost never got out on our out time. You have an in time and out time is basically your shift. My in time was 4 o'clock p.m. most of the time, and then my out time would be 10 most of the time. So I have around 6-hour shift. It's like, okay, 6-hour shift, not bad. I worked around 35, 40 hours a week, getting $14 an hour. So that's like sort of like the overall experience. That's the overall general like ideas of overall idea of my job there. What we had to deal with was so much. There's almost every single day there was something new, something that I did that not not personally but I'm gonna say I had to deal with because everybody else had to deal with them too. So it's a little bit quicker and a little bit easier to say I had to deal with. I understand that ODV and I understand that Disney is a forever changing company. Things will always change in Disney. Things will always be moving. It's not just one machine, right? It's a whole different moving gears of different ideas and creative things and going on. Like they do film, TV, television, they do amusement parks, and that's what the whole Disney thing is. But in our park, in our department, it was a big tell on like what Disney is as a whole, right? It seemed like our department was always fighting to stay above ground, right? People would call out. There would be there was unhappy cast members. There was always something that we had to deal with. We never got out on time. People lost sleep. I would come home back to my apartment, and Flamingo Crossings Village, beautiful, great. Paid a little bit too much money for it, but I would come back with cuts and bruises all over my hands and arms because food service is no joke. It's a very physically tasking and physically demanding job. That's what it is. Our department in ODV at Hollywood Studios had the most injuries reported and recorded. And I was not surprised when I heard that. I was like, wow, that's actually something huge. That's exactly why I'm coming home so exhausted. I would come home so exhausted, and my other roommates would come home and be like, "Yeah, woohoo, let's go out, let's do some." And I would hate the idea of leaving my room, leaving my bed that night, because all I wanted to do was rest up and get ready for my shift the next day. It truly was. It felt like, honestly, it felt like me coming back from war. And my roommates would just come home. He was a lifeguard, and Ethan, I hope you're watching this. He would come home and be like, "All right, like, what are we doing?" There was a clear inconsistency in the amount of work that we would have to deal with, depending on attractions throughout the park. And I can only really talk about Hollywood Studios as a whole, but I do know a couple of other experiences from my friends around Walt Disney. But there's a clear disconnect from what the college program people thought this was going to be and what Disney actually made them have to do. It was a very, very physically demanding, tasking job, and and the whole thing is I didn't even sign up for it. I did the college program thinking, I don't know what I'm going to get, and because I never got to rank what I wanted to do. I never got to rank like food up here or merchandise or attractions or anything like that. I never got to rank that. I never did. At least if I did, I don't remember it, and I feel like I would remember something like that, making sure merchandise or attractions or entertainment was at the top of my list and food would be all the way down here. And that's probably a COVID thing. They probably needed people to come by and work for them because college program people, from my experience, didn't get to choose. We didn't get to choose our roommate. We didn't get to choose where we lived. We didn't get to choose what our job was. We never got to choose our hours. We never got to choose what days we actually worked. It was always up in the air. Every single week, it felt like something new. Like I said, there was always something new. Sorry, I had to switch cameras there for a little bit. But really, there was always something new that we had to deal with. Every single day felt like a fight to make sure that the department wasn't going to, go crazy or anything, or that like I was going to go crazy or any of us was going to go crazy. It felt like every time that I clocked in, I knew that I would have to do so much. And I'm not speaking, and I'm not saying that I did everything, because that's obviously not the truth. Everybody did everything, and we still never got out on time. I can probably count on one hand the number of times that we got out on time. Throughout my whole college experience, I almost always had to get my time changed so that I didn't have to get a point for clocking out too late. It always felt like a fight between me and the department. It always felt like something was new that we had to deal with every single day, almost every single week. And it almost sounds like I'm complaining, a little bit too much complaining, and I completely get that and completely understand where that kind of idea would come from. And I really don't want to seem like I'm a negative Nancy or like anything like that I'm nitpicking a Disney department, because obviously, yes, it's the Walt Disney Company. There is a lot to deal with. It takes a lot of moving parts to make sure it goes smoothly. But the fact that Walt Disney Company right now is hiring the college program people at, it feels like an all-time rate, simply because they can pay them less and work them more than a part-time person or a full-time person. I got more hours than a full-time person, or I got it more or at least equal to hours to a full-time person, full-time worker. So, and just an idea that comes to my head is it just me, or this is a huge indicator on how the rest of the Walt Disney Company operates? Do they cut corners on everything? Because it feels like they're cutting corners on the college program. They always felt like they were cutting corners on our department. Is something going on? You know, why is this happening? Why is this happening to our college program when honestly all it is food service? That's all it is. That's all it is food service and giving guests little pretzels and Mickey bars and Mickey sandwiches and Cokes. That's all it is. And yet, I was walking 20,000 steps a day. I was coming home with cuts and bruises and bleeding and dealing with sharp objects and really heavy objects and beer kegs and walking all over the park, and no communication was really brought between the college program or people that were working there and the people that actually knew things. It honestly always felt that we were fighting against our own department. And that's not necessarily because of the people in our department. That's not necessarily because of the coordinators or leaders, because I actually really enjoyed most of the leadership and most of the coordinators. It was always felt like the rules that were already set up, things that we already had to deal with, we coming in and we had to upkeep everything. You know, there's at the popcorn carts, at the small little popcorn carts that's not even at the size of a trailer, right? Sold more items than sold probably as many or more items than like a normal sit-down restaurant. Not kidding. And the amount of items that we could sell in sizes, or the amount of items that we allowed for purchase for literally anybody that comes to the door or comes up to the window. It truly was felt like we were running an entire operation and we're just college students. And I don't want to cut ourselves short, right? We're college students, right? We just recently graduated, or we're within the midst of becoming an adult. We can handle food service, right? But it felt like there was something new every single day. That it felt like we were fighting against our own department, fighting against the rules that were already set up for us. And honestly, it felt like there was just the vibe. I don't want to sound like a millennial, but like the vibes were always off. And I would come into work knowing that I was going to have to work my butt off for the next 6, 7, 8 hours because our department is so not well organized and so not well received, not well run. And again, that's not because of the people in charge, right? It's because of the demands of the people high up telling the people that are in charge of, us, telling this is what you have to sell. This is what you have to do. Randomly. We sold hot dogs at one cart. So we had to make sure that those hot dogs got to that cart. And if they were not, then somebody was going to get in trouble. I always felt like there was always a looming cloud overhead. I always felt there was a looming cloud overhead that could fire me at any moment. If I did something wrong, boom, fired. Because I felt expendable. But yet I felt so valuable because they give you so much work. They tell you that you're doing a great job. But yet I could get fired. I could get termed at any moment if I didn't do something correctly. And I don't want to sound all negative. I'll go into the positives. I really liked where I lived. I really liked Flamingo Crossings. I live at Flamingo Crossings West. I really liked my friends. I really liked my coworkers. It was really easy to make friends, I'll be honest. It'll be really easy to just go out there and with your coworkers, obviously you see them literally every single day. So it's really easy to just get in contact with them, talk to them. Hey, how's it going? What you doing? And eventually a lot of my friendships just bloomed into like a big friend group that we would always hang out. The free time, I mean, we worked a lot. Don't get me wrong. We worked hard and we worked a lot. But there was always like 1 to 2 days every week. Again, it's completely random, but it's very possible you could get 1 to 2 days off. I never got 3 days off a week. Usually I would have to call out or get somebody to take my shift or something along those lines. Another thing I wanted is, those are probably like the biggest positives, right? But the biggest thing of them all that I thought it was going to be a positive was a negative, that me doing college program was going to get my step in the door at the Walt Disney Company, because my dream is to be a video editor for films and TV shows at Disney. Do the Marvel or Star Wars route or something along those lines. Something, I just want to. My dreams are all the way up here. So what's something realistic? That's what But I always wanted to work at Walt Disney, and I did the college program, worked my butt off, talked to my leaders, talked to my coordinators, tried to make sure that I was making a good impression every single day. Tried to. Remember, I thought I was an okay worker, but I tried to. And I would, throughout my college program, I would apply to internships, professional internships that Disney would allow, that would put up on their website and put up for job listings. And I would always apply. I would always apply to something that was in the creative department, something in the media department. I would always get denied. I'm a college graduate. I have a lot of internships under my belt, and I have a lot of experience under my belt, and I have a whole YouTube channel and podcast. And granted, they're not the best and biggest things ever. Don't get me wrong. But I would love to know who they're actually accepting, or why they closed the job offering window and things of that nature. And I always thought I was going to get my foot in the door. I was always going to get in there and be like, okay, I'm a good worker at food service. Now, please hire me, or at least let me talk to somebody. At least let me contact somebody that is high up, that could vouch for me, that I could talk to, that I could contact about working in the creative department at Walt Disney Studios. Because you would think Walt Disney it's basically all creative workers, right? And I didn't hear from anything. I probably applied to about 10 Disney jobs. I think about seven of them were professional internships. Some of them I wasn't qualified for. Some of them I was very qualified for. And 3 others, like legitimate jobs, not just internships, but legitimate jobs. And I didn't hear back from any of them. But the one time I did hear back was the time that I was almost going to go part-time, full-time. I had 2 people call me. 2 separate people call me about going part-time, full-time. Not one person ever called me about doing a professional internship. Not one person ever called me or contacted me or emailed me about doing anything else other than doing food service at Hollywood Studios. I felt like once I felt like once I got settled in, doing my job for a bit, I felt like that was all I was here to do. And granted, I was, but I felt like that's all Disney thought of me as, was a college program, food service worker, robot. And I'm not. I'm a human being. I have creative ideas that I would love to present to Disney, and they were never came to fruition because Disney did not want me. Disney didn't want it. Disney doesn't look at college program people thinking, okay, they're great just because they work at Disney. And I'm not just saying that, just because I do, a work at college program, you should hire me. That's not the idea that I'm going for. A lot of people do the Disney college program to experience, add it to a resume, or further in the company. I got the experience, wasn't great. Put it on the resume, not helping, and to further in the company, didn't happen. So now I'm back home 6 months later, looking for video editing and social media content creation jobs. But the Disney college program really left a stain in my head about what Disney is. It's sad. It really is sad, but I'm trying to give a real bare bones experience. A lot of social media influencers are trying to tell you, "Oh, Disney's great. Disney's awesome. You get to work at the most magical place on earth." Sure, but know that you will be shafted almost 100% of the time. It will happen. You will not. This is not a dream job. I think I knew when it was my first week, and I met somebody that was really excited to work at Disney, because this person just went through a battle with cancer or something along the lines. They had cancer and they wanted to work at Disney. That was part of their not make a wish, but like dream to work at Disney, and they got food service. They got food service. Food service is awful. And Disney, is this how you're treating your college program people? Is this how you're treating your employees? Is this how you're treating your cast members? Me coming back from a terrible experience and I'll be honest, most of my experience is based from my job. I don't have any other, I really wish I don't have any other personal experience that I can relate to or give to you. That's not part of that's not part of ODV Hollywood Studios. I really wish there was. There's not a whole lot of things that I could tell you about outside of ODV Hollywood Studios that pertains to Disney in my experience and would make it a little bit better, because that's all I did. Don't want to end up on a somber note. Do the Disney College Program if you really want to. If you really don't care, I think the Disney College Program is perfect for people not knowing exactly what they want to do in their lives and want to get out of the house and do something different and get an experience. That's all. Literally, that's all I would say. I don't think you should do the Disney College Program if you're looking to further go into Disney as any sort of, from sales to business to marketing to digital media. I would not say do the Disney College Program. If you have another job on the line that pays way more, do that one. Don't do the Disney College Program. If you don't want to live in Florida, don't do the Disney College Program. So I just want to give you like a realistic view on what the Disney College Program was like. I wish I could show you pictures and things of that nature that I did. You could probably go on my Instagram or whatever. But it truly was an okay experience. It was okay. What made it the best was the people that I met and with the people that I talked to and conversed with and communicated with on a daily basis. Those people are awesome. Those people are great. I met so many people that I'm going to continue to connect with throughout my life. And that's what means a lot. But that's not what means most. Getting a job means most. Making money means most. Being happy in the job that you have means most. And I didn't get any of that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys just sitting here, letting me talk about the Disney College Program. I'm sorry that I didn't come back and have, woohoo, Disney. That's not how it is. That's not life and that's not reality. And I guess I just had to realize that. But I just want to talk about the Disney College Program. Thank you so much for listening, watching. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.